also add up a whiteboard for my note takers. If you need to see and actually want to take notes and things like that, we'll have this whiteboard available so that you guys are able to take notes and look at everything that we're talking about. So the first thing you're going to see on the whiteboard right now is going to be our principles, just the layout of our principles. It's pulling up. Give it a second. All right, there we go. Everybody can see it. So we got the overview. We just talked about it. Got deception, aggressive feet, and then we got our change of pace. Talked about our 4 areas of deception. We got our head, eyes, shoulder, stick, movement mentality, right? So just making sure that everything's aggressive with your feet. We talked about that jab step being our trigger step. So that's just making sure that when we throw it, it's violent, and that's going to sell our 4 areas of deception. Change of pace, change of speed, just being able to rapidly accelerate from that slow or stop position into like a high speed, and then to also be able to dial that down and decelerate and stop from any speed that you're moving at in a proper way. So if we don't have any questions, we're going to get ready to go right into the good old skip dodge. All right, so EK, can you come on for me, please? All right, so guys, I'll have EK go through first. She's gonna go into a skip split. So you have different things that you can go into after your skip dodge, but I want you guys to see what the skip dodge actually looks like from a skip perspective. So let EK go into it. Skip, push. There we go. Let's get one more E. Push and go. There we go. So when you're looking at it, that skip, in case you missed it and you didn't see it, the skip dodge is just basically that first initial skip that she takes, and when she lands from there, you can play around and have different dodges that comes off that. Like I said before, she was doing a skip split or a skip 2-step split, where she basically, after she came off of her skip, when she landed, she jabbed one way, she faked one way with that first step, and then her second step, she was going the opposite way. But the way you get into the skip, one thing that I see a lot of times is just the mistiming or lead foot of your skip dodge. So I'll see some athletes, like, they skip, but they're skipping with the opposite or the incorrect leg, which doesn't give it that deception effect that we want for the skip. So basically what you want defenders to see when you go into your skip dodge, you want them to see a change of speed, change of pace, and then you also want to make sure that you see or deception is also played a part in that, right? So the skip, when they see it, we have different levels that we can have our skip height at. And I'll have EK go through an example in a few, showing you the range of like how you can go from a high skip to a low skip. So that just depends on your comfortability within your skip and how much deception that you want to give there or change of pace that you want to give there. So like if we're walking through this now, so EK, anytime that you skip, you always want to skip with that lead, with the opposite leg of the way that you're going up. So she's skipping to her right, so she's going to be skipping off of her left leg, if that makes sense. So we go through it again, E. So she's on the left, she's going to pop, boom. And then once she lands, she's going to jab, and then she would go the opposite way. And then notice that when she's skipping, we skip offline. So when we skip offline, that's just going to mess with the leverage of the defense. So like if a defender's in a ready position, so if I'm facing, I know it's probably kind of hard, so let's tilt a little bit like this way, EK. So if EK was here and she skipped over, when she skips over, that's going to mess my leverage up. I'm going to have to slide. And then when she takes that aggressive step or jab step, her trigger step, when she pulls the trigger, is going to make it much more believable for me to think that she's truly going that way, and then she's getting the opposite way. So like I said, when you're going through that skip dodge, make sure you're getting offline, and then the height of your skip dodge can vary. And like I said, if you're wrong as far as your feet, it's going to feel really weird. Basically, the way it will look, if EK, can you do it like weird? It's going to be weird for you. But like if you tried to skip, so go right leg up. So go ahead and put the right leg down. There you go. And then try to skip that way. Like it's going to be it's really awkward. You see, it's not going to give that smooth skip effect that you want. So that's something that you just have to work on within your dodging, within your own time when you're doing a dodge. When you're working on dodging at home, backyard, wherever you're at, you want to make sure that you're focusing on, okay, if I'm skipping to my right, I have my left leg down, and then I'm going to skip and I'm going to land on that same lead leg and then drive with my trigger step the opposite way. So EK, can you go another full speed rep? Again, push, skip, boom, push and go. And then she goes again. Now give me like a different, so if everybody saw that, when you saw the height, go one more time at the same height, E. So E's gonna come down, she's gonna skip again, same height, push and go. All right, good. Now go this one and give me like more height on your skip. So now watch her pace, like it's gonna look like her pace changes even more. Push and go. You see it? So she kind of got more higher on it. And then, like I said, all you want to do from that perspective too is like you're building more anticipation for the defender. Especially this is really effective if you have defenders who anticipate more than they play patient. Like they're really anticipating like your next move because coming off that skip, you're skipping offline, and then if you jab that way, they're gonna make it. It's gonna seem more likely like that you're going that way that you skipped off to, and then we're driving and getting out of there off once we land on that back leg. So, do you guys have any questions in the comments? What do you got? Bob, what's up, girl? You back at it? Can you switch your? All right. So, question from Bob: can you switch your hands when you skip, or should you switch hands in the skip dodge? All right. So yeah, you're gonna switch hands as you come down. I think I got what you're saying, Bob. So once you land, so you're not gonna switch your stick mid-air with the skip. That's just not recommended. It's honestly nothing wrong with it, but I mean that's if you have a really strong handle with your stick, I mean you could get away with it, but at the same time there's really no need because nothing's showing in the air. It's really once you come down. So once you come down off that skip, then the stick, you want your stick in the right hand. If you have it in your right, so put it like this, back it up, Bob, let me say this. So if you have it in your left hand, you can 100% do a face dodge with a skip. That can definitely happen. So you can have stick in your left hand and you can come down and skip, but when you land, you still need to have that deception and show that your stick is going to the right, and then you're pushing and getting the opposite way. Does that make sense? E, you want to get that attempt? Like a skip face? so just skip the same side, but have stick in your left hand. And then, yeah, you're still going to go left. So push and go. Yeah, so that's what it would look like. Either one. So that's fine. So, yeah, so I hope that answered your question, Bob. We'll go ahead and drop the whiteboard of the skip dodge as well so you guys can look over and see our notes on the skip dodge. Like I said, you're welcome, Bob. 2 chains. All right, so there we go. So skip approach, everybody sees it here. So like I didn't say that at the beginning, but it's a 2-phase movement. The reason it's a 2-phase, you have that first initial skip, and then you have the land. So that's what makes it a 2-phase movement. Initiate the skip into the dodge. We push off with the lead leg, jab with the opposite leg, exit the opposite of the jab step. So the opposite step of your trigger step or jab step, that's the way that you're going. And then you guys saw EK, we went through it. Any questions? Like I said, don't be afraid to ask questions, guys, because I know this is one that a lot of athletes I see all the time, like they want to emulate and they want to do. Just make sure if you're doing it correct, it can be really, really effective. And you probably see girls at the high level do this a lot. But if it's clean and you time it right, it can be really dangerous for athletes for sure, or for defenders, I should say. The application of it is when you're facing a defender that tends to predict your next movement. So if you've been dodging a particular way all game, then going into a skip dodge is the ultimate opportunity to actually sell that way, sell the opposite way like you've been going, and then you can put that foot in the ground and get opposite right away. Any more questions on skips? Giving you guys a little time. Don't forget about those key pointers too. Lead. The first one is the most important, I would say. It's definitely leading with the skip first, or the lead leg is the skip leg. Like I said, like you saw when EK went through the one time, it's very awkward if you try to skip with the wrong leg. We call that an inverted skip, but you don't want to invert skip if you don't know how to skip at all. So that's something that we'll cover down the road about an inverted skip, but you have to master the regular skip dodge first before you can get into talking about like the inverted skips and everything like that. So can EK run through skip? 100%. EK, can you give us another skip dodge, please? And notice like as she's doing it, like it's the skip, she's not rushing the skip either. The skip is very natural. You don't want to really rush into your skip because like we said, it's a change of pace. It falls under our third principle, which is change of pace, to make it more effective when you come down. Like if you're moving too fast, we talked about this before. If you don't have that change of pace, if you're playing at one speed, a defender is going to really be able to lock in, gauge that speed, and then be able to match her speed if she has that gear. So if you don't have a defender that has that gear, then yes, it may be an advantage for you right now. But as you continue to level up, you're going to find that defender is going to be able to match your gear. So, and you don't want to run into that problem and then not be able to do that. E, can you go? Can you work it? Go the opposite way. You want to try to skip the opposite way? On the spot. Somebody asked, yeah, they want to see it the opposite way. You can walk through it. You can walk through it. So like you're walking through it. So it'd be that leg, and then you would skip, boom, push, and then go opposite. Yep. And then you like want to jog into it. Yeah, you can feel it. Push, and go. 100%. That was it. That was it. So that was another look of it from the opposite way. EK just did for you guys. You're welcome, Corey. Got it. Where you're coming down, is there a rule of spacing spread of the legs or bare short? Hold on. Typos, looking at typos. So I got the question. Coach Bart, all right, when you're coming down, is there a rule of space in the spreading of the legs? Are I'm trying to figure that, beer with the shorter spread. Are you talking about the separation of her legs when she lands off of her split, or I'm sorry, off of her skip? You're good, Mark, you're good. Yeah, so basically question is like, yeah, when she's going into it, is there a rule of the space in her legs when she comes down? So EK, so we'll go into this really quickly. So anytime you're playing, we teach our athletes like your shin angles play a huge part, and we'll go into this a whole nother class one day of just shin angles. But the wider you can get without sacrificing traction, the more lateral push you're going to get. So you want to be able, anytime you're going warm-ups, when you're going to certain fields, you're playing, like you definitely want to fill out the traction of how low can you get your shin angle. So EK here, she's showing it a little more wider, just because she has her cleats on, and this is a pretty good grade of turf to where she can really get that lateral explosion to push off. If EK was playing on like a field that wasn't great, her skip and her distance between would be a lot more tighter, just because she would have to keep her shin angle a little bit more vertical to push off and go. So it's not a true rule. It just depends on the athlete and the lever of an athlete. Like some athletes have longer femurs, like their legs are just longer than other athletes. So they're going to look a lot more wider than a shorter athlete with shorter legs, with shorter femur. So it just all depends on the athlete. Anytime that, as a coach though, I would say this, anytime you see an athlete, they're doing it, if they're constantly slipping, sliding, or not able to really push off and go, that's the time that you give the cue to like widen your stance in some more, but don't have them get too much upright, because then they're not going to be able to get that lateral push off like they need to really get out of that dodge as effective and as quick as they can. Great coach. Great question, coach. 100%. 100%. Yeah, so you want to have, wider base to create more lateral force. 100%. All right, so we already had the whiteboard on that. All right, now going into our redodge. So like we said, redodge, you have different ways that you can redodge, like to get to that position. So the time that you want to utilize a redodge or think about a redodge is when you have probably like an unsuccessful first dodge. So being that we're using our skip dodge as an example, if you went into a skip dodge and you did something incorrect, or just the nature of the beast, like you're not going to always have 100% success rate with your dodging. You just have maybe you had a really good skip dodge and you're not able to clear the girl, or you're not able to clear the guy. As you're running, then you want to get to a point where you can get both sides back available, right? So like if I was playing defense here on EK and we were running this way, right? I was in a crossover run, then she needs to figure out a way, how can I get my left side back available? So this is a way, our square step is just a way that you're able to get into it without creating a lot of space. So if we walk through it, a square step is going to be coming down. She's going to punch this foot at me and she's going to square up. and then I'm gonna have to match right away. I don't really want to cover her up, but you want to be able to match right away. So EK, do 1 rep like full speed, just like run to it and then square step. So she's gonna run into it, push, square up, and then from there she's ready to play ball. So do it one more time. Ready, go. Push, boom, square, boom. And then from there, so like I said, that's off of a dodge. So the goal would be to throw the square step, or you're throwing this step once you have a defender in a crossover run. If the defender is not in a crossover run, this will not be effective. I'm telling you now. So you have to have the defender. You have to really be driving cage really fast, really hard, to where defenders having to cross over with you. And then when you punch that foot, if I was playing defense and I kept carrying this way, she could square up and just split and go the opposite way. Or if I reacted somewhat on time, so if she ran and she did it, boom, and I square up, or she squares up, and then maybe she jabs that way, and I try to commit or get back into play, she could push and get right back where she was going. So it's really, the square step is going to put you in a place to where you can read and react and then play ball from there. We talked about this one time before. The best offensive players, they play defense on offense, meaning that they read and react better than the defensive player. Defense is built around reading and reacting, but if you get an elite, super elite offensive player, they're going to have the ability to, once the defender reads, they're reading right away as well, and they're reacting before the defender reacts. So that's the position you want to get to. So you're going to square up. You would punch the ground, square up, and then from there, read the defender. Is he or she still in a lateral or crossover run and like trying hard to recover, and then you're able to just split and go the opposite way? Or did they do pretty good at recovering? Now you can sail as if you're going that way, and then you can push and get right back the opposite way. So that just turns into, once you square up, it turns into, all right, a 2-step or 3-step type dodge, whatever dodge you decide to go with, to react off of the defender with, to be successful to go score and drive cage. So always keep that one in your bag. You don't want to get too much space. As I said before, when you're going into that square step, you want to have enough space for you just to read and react. If you back out too far, it's not going to work. So we're not treating this as a step back or like a pushback, like us creating a lot of space to go into like a whole nother dodge. This is just like a quick way to get into a redodge very, very fast and effectively. So now we have our notes. We'll put the notes up for the square step redodge. This is also a one-phase drill as well, or movement. So it's only the only thing that you're focused on here is just punching the ground with the inside step. So you have to punch with that inside step. You can't punch with the back leg, because you do that, you're going to turn to the defender, and the time that you would turn, now defender's aware and they're able to gather themselves and be ready for the next move that you're going to come with. So it's all about trying to catch the defender off guard when you go with that square step. There it is. Yep. So we got notes up. So inside leg, push off the defender. Yep. Then the second, always land in a squared up position. When you land in that squared up position as well, once you punch and you square up, you should feel like you can go either way, right? Like, I'm ready to go either way. That's the benefit, or that's the bonus for you beating the defender to that squared up positions, because now you can go either way, and the defender is getting caught up. If he or she's running this way, they're caught up right now. The same way you're only able to go one way, they're only able to go one way at the moment. And then once you square up, you unlock both ways, and now the defender, in order for them to recover the opposite way, they have to unlock it as well. So they're going to have some type of square up. That's when you read and react and make your move and go score. Any questions thus far on the square step? I think the biggest thing is just that always look at the key pointers at the end, just the key pointers. Those are really huge. Like, if you forget everything that we talked about, those are the ones that you want to focus on for sure. Any questions? Any questions? What do we got? EK, run it again. Absolutely. Let's go again. So let me step on this side. Push. Square. Good. So like EK, so now go. So now we'll have her like, we'll go. All right, let's go this way. So we're gonna go opposite. How about this? We'll combine what we kind of just did. So go skip like you normally do. So skip it and go left, but then square step and then come back right. So like So come down, skip. So skip it like you've been doing. Yeah, so skip. Boom, you're gonna split, and then you're gonna run that way, and then square step that way. Boom, square up, and then get back this way. Yeah. Got you. So we're gonna combine the two things we just talked about. So she's gonna go into a skip split. Then from there, she's gonna take off. We're in limited space, so we're not gonna have her carry long. But ideally, she would be carrying a little bit longer than the space that we have now into her, as if she was driving the cage. And then from there, she's gonna square up. She's gonna go into her square step, square up, and then she's just gonna push and split back the opposite way. All right, here we go. Push, skip, split, boom, push, split. There we go. And then down. Got it? Let's go one more time. That was it though. Skip, split, boom, push, square, and go. Good. That's it. And then now let's go. So skip, split, but let's just go like you flowing from this way so they can see like a different angle. So like, you're like your head up now. So we'll start it here. And then just skip, split, working this way. Then you work that way. So they can just see like sideways. Yeah. Push, split. There we go. And then go same thing again. So now she's just doing skip split. This is just giving you guys a different angle for you to see what the skip split looks like. Push. Good. And then let's do the combo like you just did. So skip, split. Yep. So there she goes. She's gonna skip. Boom, push, square step, split. Welcome, Corey. So that's the combination. We put those two together. That can definitely happen. So just working your dodges and being able to get into that square step really quick can really be beneficial to your game, just as far as for you creating space when you get in trouble. If the skips doesn't work, it's helping you kind of give you a bailout option. Let me see. So questions. Trying to figure out any questions. No questions. I feel like a lot of athletes try to skip these days. A lot of skips. I feel like the square step, like I said, that's a different one. I don't think a lot of athletes add to their game. That can be really effective for you working and creating space. Let's go into one more combination off of it again. So we'll go one more. EK is going to do one more example flowing into it again, and then we'll just give you guys takeaway of like what you can do at home to better yourself in both of these movements to help you out. So let's go. Yep, same combo again. So skip, split, push, square, finish. Here we go, good. So one of the at-home drills I would do for a skip dodge, and I'll let EK go through it. I'm just going to demonstrate it or give you guys the example first. There we go. We got a question in. Are there footwork drills to help you get better? Yeah, 100%. I'm about to go over it now, Chris. So this is a drill to help you with your skip dodge. So always like the bounce or the rebound. So I'm just going to stand. I'm going to bounce on one leg, which is going to be your lead leg. So I'm going to bounce on it. And then when you feel good from there, you're going to push forward for one step, and then you're going to take that jab step and just land in it and stay in it from there. And make sure that you're skipping offline. So you're going to bounce. Then from there, you would skip offline. And then when you land, you're just going to make sure you got that front leg loaded and your deception and everything's leading that way. And then you reset and do it again. So you want to do that? So yeah, so you're going to bounce. You can do it, go your way. Go the way you typically like, go. So she's going to bounce. She's going to take the one, push. I was in her way. Do it again. Do it again. Same thing. She's going to bounce. Skip, push. There we go. Do it again. Bounce, push. There we go. And it's just going to help you guys feel like what it feels like to have that lead leg. Like I said, that's the most common mistake is not skipping off the right leg. I mean, the correct leg. And then that's when it feels really weird. And it's like, what was that? Like, you don't even feel like it's a skip because it wasn't a skip. And then realistically, like in a game, you don't have time to pause. You can't stop the game and say, hey, let's start it over, right? So work on that on your own to make sure you have the correct lead leg up. That's what's going to help you get to that point. So after you do that and you're feeling really comfortable with that, then I would go into a drill to where you're going to lead. So if I'm skipping off of my right, then you would go into a drill where you actually run into it left first. So you would go left, right, then skip and go into it. So if I'm here, like I said, so I'm with the left foot, I'm going to run into it. So now that's just giving you one cycle before you get into your skip, so you can still feel what that lead leg feels like without having the extra bouncing, like the bouncing drill. It's a good progressive drill coming off of that, off of the bounce drill. Um, so with your spacing, so the spacing for your skip, always remember, like anytime you add an approach, this is just approach one. We're working on skip dodge. You have so many other approaches to get into your dodges, but if you're going into a skip dodge, you have to make sure that you have the proper spacing too, right? So if I'm going to skip, I got to make sure that I have enough space between me and the defender. So if I'm facing this way, if EK was coming at me, like she couldn't start her skip, come up closer. She couldn't start her skip like right here, because she starts her skip. Once she skips and lands, she's right here on top, right? So she's too close to the defender. So if she backs up, she wants to back up, and then from there she could skip from there. And then now when she lands, that's going to give me the opportunity to try to like read and react off of her steps, and then that'll give her the opportunity to finish downhill at an angle to go finish. Because we always talk about, we don't want to dodge east and west. We always dodge downhill at angles. I always say like southwest, northeast height, right? Like we want to finish like off at an angle. We never want to finish going east west. But if you do dodge too close to the defender, that's going to force you to have to go east west, and that's when you will have to go into a redodge, because that was an unsuccessful dodge and you're in trouble. So you got to back out and then reset and go into it again. So now, so the drill to work on square steps is just a cycle through. So I'll let you go through this one. So it's literally, you just start with the opposite leg of the leg that you're going to need to use for the inside leg to push off. And then from there, you're just going to take one hard step and then just push and square. That's literally all it is. I mean, it's not too much you need to do from an at-home perspective. I think the biggest thing you need to do is just start implementing it within your drills and stuff that you do at home, so it becomes more of muscle memory. So then you're able to actually throw this in a game subconsciously without having to think about like, all right, do I need to use a square step? You should just catch yourself in a game situation trying to drive cage, and you realize like, I'm not going to beat the girl to the edge, or I'm not going to beat her to the corner. And then from there, you just have to square up and go into it. So you would just start here and literally push, square up, no extra steps, and make sure that you're balanced, and then you're ready to play ball from there. So Eve, you can do that real quick just to show them. Boom, push. There we go. Same thing. Good. There we go. Perfect. So the opportunity for a square step is just literally if you want to stay moving at like somewhat of a faster pace, and then you're going to change up and then get to the squared up position to play ball. But this is literally something that I just feel like you should have in your dodge bag as well, right? Like we know the typical step back as far as pushing back to gain a lot of space, right? And then go into your dodge. You don't have to always do that if you don't want to do that. Like sometimes some athletes, you're moving at a really good pace already, and I just need to change my gear up slightly to create or give myself the two-way go again, and I know I can beat the defender. So that's the prime opportunity to push, square up, and then play ball and go. But if you really just need a mental reset, or you just really need to come up with a better game plan, then 100% you could come down, push back, create your space that you need, and then from there, figure out what dodge y'all want to initiate the attack with, and then you go back into your dodge. That's a true full-blown redodge right there. So this is just a one to mix it up. And I feel like a lot of defenders, it would throw them off because they're not used to seeing square steps. A lot of defenders are used to seeing athletes back out, create their space. And when you do that as well for a really great defender, that gives them the opportunity to kind of mentally collect themselves over again as well. So they can kind of, as you push back, which is not bad, like at times if you really need it, when you back out, the defender also has time to reset and get her mind right or his mind right before you come back at them. Whereas with a square step, there's no time for them. That's them having to figure out what are you doing. From there, they have to react to what you just did, and you're ready to react off what they're going to do. And that's going to give you the opportunity to go score. Any more questions on either either things that we talked about, either the skip approach, or talking through the redodge of the square step redodge. Or do you have any questions in general, just about dodging in general? No questions. Got it. So for the most part, that's it, guys. I mean, I don't have anything else outside of those two things that we just talked about. That was the main focus for this session, this class today for us of Dodge City University. Biggest thing I wanted you guys to take away as we're closing this out is just remember the rule of 100. I don't know if you guys have heard of the rule of 100, but basically it says like within a year, right, you can collect 100 hours if you spend 18 minutes per day working on a certain discipline. So if you want to become better in your dodging, take 18 minutes out of your day every day and just focus on something that either we're talking about or just something that you've learned from a previous coach or a trainer or somebody like within your dodging. Like start focusing on those things for 18 minutes a day, and then over time you're going to collect 100 hours and you're going to be better than 95% of the world, or lacrosse world that we would say, at the art of dodging, of becoming. And like we said before, you don't have to be the most explosive, fastest athlete to be successful in dodging. We teach dodging from a perspective that it is a skill. If you do have those attributes where you're fast and you're quick or whatever, like that's just going to give you the opportunity for your range to be better, but that doesn't mean that you're going to be great at dodging either. So you have to make sure that you know what you're doing when you're taking these approaches. You're going into dodges. It's like a mini chess match, right? And you can't go in and play a chess match and you don't know what you're doing against somebody that's a master at it. So when you're going into these things, like make sure that you know what you're doing. Take the time out, 18 minutes a day, get better at your craft, collect that hour. I mean, those 100 hours, the rule of 100, and that's going to take your game to the next level. And that's not just with dodging, but that's in all aspects of your game. Like I said before, like from the dodge perspective, I think definitely incorporating the wall ball within that 18 minutes is really important. Having 6 to 7 minutes of, or really just 6 minutes of wall ball, right? So just go 6 minutes of wall ball, working on switching each hand, working the non-dom. So that's going to have you able to flow and dodge which either way. Because that's sometimes that we see a lot of athletes, like they kind of lose the ball on their switch as they're starting to get better with their dodging, like because you're gonna move more efficiently, but you want to make sure your hands are able to go with you as well. And then making sure that you're working like some type of speed or footwork, get the ladder out, go through ladder drills for about 6 minutes of just working really fast, quick feet. And then from there, that last 6, then just work pure dodging, right? So go off of that, work some dodges. Now that you have your hands ready, get your feet primed and ready. Then after that, it's 18 minutes. You just collected 18 minutes and do that every single day. Add it as a part of your routine, and then from there you'll see your game over time start to elevate and go up. And that's what we want. We want you guys to become better at your craft, become better at your sport, which is lacrosse. So we got to really push and drive hard and do all these things that we need to do to become legendary, which is what we want to do at the end of the day. If there are no more questions, oh, Mark said very good, too short. Oh, we need to go a 3-hour segment. We might just lay it all out, Mark. 2 Chainz, you're welcome. Next Sunday, you're gonna try to bring. All right, boom, 100%, 100%. Let's do it. Let's do it, Bob. I appreciate you. How you been playing lately, Bob? You been playing good? Answer that question real quick. Yes. Okay. The multiple S's confirmed it. You're welcome. Guys, at the end of this, we're going to have a survey that we'll send out to you guys. Please fill it out to help us continue like getting better at this, because at the end of the day, we're doing this for you guys. We want you guys to make sure that you're able to understand the information, comprehend it, making sure that everything we talk about from an application standpoint makes sense. And then from there, like, is it helping you with your game? Like, and you can be completely honest, coaches, trainers, if you're on as well, like, please give feedback, because this is only going to help you guys to improve your lacrosse community for what you guys have going on. All right. I think that's about it. Oh, we actually are. We actually are. We're coming to Connecticut soon. Stay tuned. Can't give you dates yet, but we'll be in Connecticut soon. Um, that's it. I don't think I have anything else for you guys. Come back to Philly. We got to go back to Philly. Also, if your club or team, if you're a coach or you're part of a club or team, which everyone is, have them reach out. We can figure out things for your team to get you this information in a team setting to help you guys become better as an entire organization, which can be really huge as well. Larkin, you're welcome. Boston in December. Oh, Mike, tell Soph be ready. Tell Soph it's game time, 100%. Coming back to Boston in December. That might be part of it, 2 Chainz. We might have to stop by Philly on the way up. 100%. All right, guys. Don't forget, fill out that survey. Help us out. Make sure that if you're following us on Dodge as well, go DM us. This is extra right here. Go DM us. Put DCU. And we might have something for you. Can't put it out there, but we may have something for you. Go DM it. All right, that's it. Coach Rose logging out. See you guys later.